So I was sick and I couldn't sleep, and so this is my 17th take on this because I feel like I'm not explaining it the perfect way every time. But anyways, I couldn't sleep yesterday. I was checking some reels on Instagram, and I saw a video of like two guys discussing this typical Christian guy, like asking impossible questions, and then another guy not being able to answer them, and then everyone being like, "Ha ha ha! The Christian guy got him." And it's like, yeah, God exists. There must be a creator. How did nothing come from something? What's the beginning of the universe, right? So I thought of a very funny example or thought experiment, and it starts like this. So there's these fishes. They're very smart fishes, even though they don't look like it. To us, they're very smart, and they're in the ocean, right? The ocean is their universe. It's made of water. They had like fish Einstein, and fish Einstein. That was like when he figured out that everyone was on water. It was like the biggest achievement. Freaking smart guy, right? Fish. So they see the ocean, they see there's like a horizon or they call it something else, and they see how like no matter where they swim, they actually stay in the ocean. So it's like an infinite ocean, and they struggle to understand, where did the ocean swim from or flow from. And for them, when they look at everything in the ocean, the bottom line, so the bottom line is swimming, right? That's like their bottom line. They think in terms of ocean. Flowing, they understand. Floating, they kind of understand. Sink, when something sinks. And that's how they think because they're fishes, right? So we come and we choose to swim with them. We monkeys over here. We're laughing, like when they look at the horizon here, we know they're looking at the beach, but like they don't understand that. So we come over here, choose to swim with them so we can kind of like explain to them what the fuck's going on. And we say there is an ocean, there is Earth, and there is the sky. And the planet like long ago, we don't even bother with the long ago and all that shit. Like too complicated. Anyways, when the planet acquired atmosphere, water drops fell from the sky after like the clouds formed and everything. So water drops fell from the sky into a hole and the ocean was born. So that's the explanation. But the bottom line for a fish in a fish world in the ocean, everything that's in the ocean swims or floats or sinks. They don't have a concept of is. That's that's beyond their bottom line. For them, in order for something to be, in order for something to exist in the ocean, they don't even have the word exist. It's like things swim in the ocean or flow in the ocean, right? So they don't understand the word is, the concept of just being. They don't get it. So they don't get is, and okay, they don't know what's the sky and the earth, but they get their things or places or something. And they also don't get fell or falling, right? And they don't get born because they also don't fucking get born. So they don't get these words. So we translate for them and we say, okay, there swims an ocean, there swims an earth, and there swims a sky. And these are the bottom lines for them, so they understand, right? And water drops sunk into a hole. I misspelled hole. Water drops sunk into a hole and the ocean swam. So now they can go to the Fish Jimmy Fallon show and they can act like they fucking know what the fuck is happening. But then there's like a fish scientist who's a bit more curious and he looks into this and he goes like, hold up. So let alone swimming doesn't make sense because the ocean can't swim before the ocean exists. So this whole sentence doesn't fucking make sense. But tell me about the sunk, because according to my equations, in order for something to sink, it needs the ocean around, right? So this doesn't make sense. And then we go like, oh, it's because we translated from this language. So we translated, fall is actually the equivalent of sink. And if you were a monkey like us and you understood different bottom lines, you would understand that falling is like sinking, but doesn't require water around it. And you just have to trust me on that one. So that's where the fish story ends, and the fish is kind of hopeless. It just has to accept the sentence that it understands. So, but now it gets interesting because now the same thing could be happening to us. So here comes, Gabriel, Raphael, and all the angels, and they decide, instead of like we decided to swim, to match the fish's bottom line. We decided to swim to explain to them. So they decide to exist to match our bottom line, which is time space continuum. So the angels decide to exist, and they tell us that there is a universe, there is Letera, and there is the Himmel. And Letera and the Himmel is just fucking irrelevant what those are. It's like the sky and the earth just chose like equivalents. And moments fell into a hole and the universe began. So this we understand the sentence, but it doesn't make any sense, right? How did something fall into a hole and make the universe begin when falling requires the universe to be there in the first place? It requires time and space. That's how we, otherwise things can't fall. Then Gabriel comes up here and he's like, oh, it's because we translated, right? Actually, the real word that you don't understand is vift, and it's because we have a different bottom line. Like the monkeys had a more advanced bottom line than the fishes, right? The monkeys, they had is, which was the bottom line. That everything is. The fishes, their bottom line, because they're from the ocean, was everything swims or floats or floats, right? And our bottom line is everything is, was, became, right? So the angels have a different bottom line than us, so that we don't get. Like the fishes don't get the monkeys. They have tuck. So the real sentence they were trying to explain to us is that their tuks a universe, their tuks litera, and their tuks das Himmel, and moments vift into a hole, and the universe stacked. So that's basically the sentence. That's what's happening. But for us to understand it, they translated the bottom line to our bottom line, which is or existing, right? So there is a universe, there is litera, blah 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 blah, and then we just have to trust that vift is the equivalent of falling, but it doesn't require time and space. So that was the whole idea. I thought it was really funny that this could be kind of. It's funny if it's like that, that the fishes, they don't understand what's a bubble. Like they see a bubble here and they see it bursting, and it's like a phenomena. Like they're like, oh, what the fuck? What's that? From the fish perspective, there's a bubble, and then it becomes smaller and smaller or larger, whatever. And then when it reaches the surface or the end for them, then it disappears. And then moments later, they see like they see all this. But the monkeys, they see that the bubble just kind of bursts up in the air, and then small drops drop into the ocean back again. But this is how it looks to the fishes, right? It looks like a complete mess. They don't understand it. The same, we look at a black hole, we see the Hawking radiation, we don't fucking get what's happening. We see there's particles teleporting. We don't get what the hell is happening. But the angels, they see, bro, this is a bubble. It's going to our dimension, bursting, and the particles are just going up and back into space-time continuum. Simple. They're just talking. So that's the whole thing. Maybe everything just tucks, because that's another bottom line. Maybe existing only happens in time space, but wherever the sea or the lake of the universe that is time space, wherever that is located, maybe in that world there's another bottom line where everything tucks. And if you're very annoying, you would probably ask yourself, how did that tuck into existence? But yeah, we can't even ask that question because I just use the word existence, and that's not from that bottom line.